Hello everybody, this is ZigZagZog coming to you from somewhere in this world, and we're here to play something that maybe some of you have seen, maybe some of you have not, but it's the reason I'm still playing Total War Attila, and it's the mod Medieval Kingdoms Total War 1212 AD. I hope you stick around and take a peek at this mod with me and see how it's looking in this phase of its development. It's definitely playable in its current state, even though there's a few other things that will get developed, from mercenaries to the naval battles, etc. But the game has a nice feel to it, and I wanted to take a moment to be able to play a playthrough and get you a good feel for how the mod is looking right now. If you've never heard of the mod, never played the mod before, don't know what it takes to get it set up and downloaded, check out the comments below, and I have a link to how to load this mod and the 11 different pieces you'll need to subscribe to in the workshop to get it going. All right, let's get in here and start this. As of right now, just the early campaign is available, starting in, of course, 1212 AD. Well, we'll take a quick, brief look at the period we're battling in with the High Middle Ages description here. The High Middle Ages have so far been a period of growth and prosperity, though not without its share of bloodshed. The era has been dominated by the Crusades, and two are ongoing at present: the Albigensian Crusade in southern France, and the crusade against the Almohad Caliphate in the Iberian Peninsula. Another crusade with far-reaching effects was the Fourth Crusade, where the Byzantine Empire was overthrown and the Latin Empire established in its stead. Now, various Byzantine successor states and the Latins vie for control over the ashes of the Byzantine Empire. Meanwhile, the Holy Land, which has been continuously fought over for over a century, is once more the target of a crusade. Pope Innocent III plans the conquest of Cairo from the Ayyubid Sultanate, hoping to retake Jerusalem if Egypt can be secured. Yet all this may well be insignificant in the face of the horror approaching from the eastern steppes. All right, so I've just made a choice for this very first playthrough. We're just going to be playing as the Kingdom of England. It is very easy, but it also has a decent roster. It's decent size. We can get moving pretty quickly as far as this faction is concerned. So that's where we're going to play on this very first one. If we come back and play again, maybe I'll take more of a poll and see who you all want to see played next time around when we do this mod. Let's find out a little bit about the Kingdom of England. The British Isles are rife with strife and warfare, but from the chaos lies the opportunity for a nation to be born. Defensible thanks to their separation from the mainland, subjugating or conquering the rest of the Isles leaves nothing but benefits to a shrewd ruler. The Angevins have ascended to the throne under Geoffrey of Anjou, and his wife Matilda reached the peak of power in 1151 after their son Henry II's marriage to Eleanor of Aquitaine granted them the political and martial strength to force the King of Stephen of England to rename Henry as his heir, 1153, which allowed him to effectively rule England and have the title officially bestowed upon Henry in 1154 following Stephen's death. This granted the new king not only the throne of England, but also gave him rule over Aquitaine, Normandy, and Rouen. Eleanor gave birth to two sons of equal fame and notoriety: Richard I, a great warrior and beloved king, and John I. By now, however, England has seen better days. Scots and Irish to the north contemplate revolt, and the nobles have lost faith in their king. Once the pinnacle of feudal achievement led by previous Angevin kings, King John I has neglected his duties for more frivolous and greedy pursuits. The younger brother of King Richard the Lionheart, he ruled in all but name, whilst his brother partook in the Third Crusade, spending all but 6 months of his reign away from the throne. And fortuitously for John, Richard would never return from this crusade, instead dying whilst besieging a French castle at Chalus of gangrene from a crossbow wound in April of 1199. Since then, the upstart French Capetian dynasty has become emboldened by John's mishandling of his nobles and took the opportunity to take back lost holdings. After numerous and humiliating defeats, John I was dishonored with the moniker John Lackland for the loss of his birthrights. Now, though, with new allies and new opportunities in 1212, John Lackland may have a chance to rewrite his legacy and make the Capetians pay for their actions with interest. So that is our goal, is to get John to get rid of his Lackland nickname, and we'll see if we can't help him make this happen. Before we jump on in, do me a favor, even if you never do this on videos, can you do me a favor and hit the like or dislike button? This is the first episode of a new playthrough, and that always gets things off to a good start if you can do that. And if you have a chance, say hi to me. If you don't know what else to say, just say hi. Let me know where you're viewing from. I'd love to hear from y'all. Let's get in here. All right, as we heard in the description, we have a lot of nobles that are not necessarily keen or happy about our rule, so there's wavering loyalty afoot. We have Robert, located in London, whose loyalty is wavering. We have William, located also in London, loyalty wavering. We have Eustace in Nottingham, wavering loyalty. And before we get into it any further, here's some mod credits. I'll scroll through. Please, big thank you, shout out to these guys for the work they've done so far on this mod, getting it to where it is so far. Pretty amazing work from this team here. And the Pope, of course. You can't have a medieval themed game without issues with the Pope. As a Catholic faction, you must play a precarious game of managing the opinion of the clergy. At the helm of the clergy lies the Pope, supreme ruler of the Catholic Church. Appeasing the Pope may be in your best interest, as displeasing him can have dire consequences. And there is war weariness in this mod and this Attila Total War. The sign of a great leader is in knowing how far your people can be pushed. Wars are significant, dramatic events that should not be undertaken lightly. All right, let's get down and take a closer look at the faction that we have ahead of us. We have two armies currently, one being led by Eustace in Nottingham, and the other being led by our bastard brother William. And we'll take a quick look at the family tree as it exists for this playthrough and this Angevin dynasty. We have John. There is our king. He is currently just a statesman. And there is our bastard brother, one of our generals. We have three children. We have Henry, who's 5 years of age, Richard, the heir, at age 3, and we also have a daughter, Joan, age 2. Our brother has a son, William, age 1. So the first thing we're going to do to try and get rid of that Lackland moniker is we're not going to keep our king as a statesman. I think we're going to make him a general so he can make some moves and gain back the strength that he needs to have for his to rebuild the Angevin dynasty. So let's get out there and do this first. We'll go over to we'll make this our first step. We're going to go over to Eustace here, and I think if we go over to his details, that's where we can do it. We're going to replace Eustace and get the king back in front of an army leading the way. And there is John. He has +3 morale when defending his command force. And we'll take a closer look at him as we go on here.
Ready for orders.
There we go. He's replaced. He is now a general again. So why don't we go back into, we'll deal with the actual armies here shortly. What we'll do is we'll take a look at our nobles. We'll assign offices. We'll assign governorships. We'll assign edicts, those kinds of background things that we got to get in order because we can't proceed without governors. We want to get that all set. So we'll take a quick moment and run through everybody and just take a look at everybody. And every time you do play this game, notice that we'll look at our king here. His traits are probably going to be, they're kind of randomly done each time. I know I've played before where he's had a shrew of a wife that really had negative consequences to his stats. We end up being a little bit fortunate this time that our wife is good, adds to our personal influence and influence earning situations, and lowers political action costs for our king. So there's a quick overview of the king. Our other general down here, he has some abilities to command, plus morale when attacking, plus morale overall for the commanded force. So that's really nice. And his also a very nice wife for him. Also public order if he ever goes to being a governor, and his wife increases or helps increase his personal influence. The rest of our nobles that we are going to be signing, these two are set. They're both our generals, and so the rest of these nobles, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, and guess what? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 territories that need a governor. So we're going to go about assigning these out. The only one we won't be able to assign right away is Eustace. We'll have to wait a turn because he's in transit. He's in transit for being kicked off, well, replaced by the king. William's strength is wealth. He as a governor grants plus 10% from agricultural buildings. So what we'll do is we are going to assign William to Bristol, and Bristol is located in Wessex. So let's go find Wessex, and that's a pretty agriculturally oriented, at least at this point in the game, and at some point we'll be looking at the cities closer, but for now just trust me, this is a nice spot for William with his perks. Robert, let's take a look at Robert. He is good at increasing the tax rate. So a good place for Robert is the area with my highest income is York, and York is up in Northumbria. So we're going to assign Robert to Northumbria, where hopefully his ability to influence positively the tax rate will have the biggest impact. William, we're taking a look at okay, he can have benefits if he's a general and with his military force reducing upkeep. So that's to keep in mind if we need another general down the road. But in a region, maintenance cost is reduced, and the region with the most buildings that have a maintenance cost to them is London. So we're going to head over to Sussex and apply his governorship abilities there. John is best, I think, is it commerce? Yeah, plus 10% from commercial buildings in this one. So we're going to put him down in Aquitaine and Bordeaux, where we have the big old port built up and we have the best commerce income of any of our territories. So that's where he's going. Hubert, here when we start here, we get down to these last two, and they don't really have any strengths for governorships. He has command or benefits for melee damage and missile damage, but not so much for when he's a governor. So we're just going to fill out the last couple areas where we need a governor, and one of those is in Colchester in Essex, and that's where we're going to send Hubert. And then finally we'll have Eustace when he gets back. We'll have to just try and remember and not forget next turn to put Eustace in Mercia to be the governor there. Okay, another thing I mentioned is we have some offices that might be available, and for the governors over here at least, provost is a handy little starting point for offices for them. It increases once they gain this title or office 2 to the public order, which will help us in many, many instances. Plus, it doesn't hurt because it increases wealth from industrial and agricultural buildings by 10% by holding this office. So if we just click on an individual over here, it'll highlight if we're available or have the rank necessary for an office, and in this case we do not. He does not have enough influence cost to be able to take over an office. You can see his influence metric is right there at 15, and he needed 20, I believe it was. Yeah, so he's not quite ready for office. Robert, on the other hand, is, so we're gonna assign him over here. William is available for the promotion. John is not. He's also sitting down at 15 influence. Hubert is available for a promotion, potential promotion to office, and Eustace, when he gets back, will be able to take office also as a governor. So we only have 4 provost slots, 6 governors, so not everybody can get that benefit, but we'll hand them all out as we can. Of course, we don't need to give the king an office, and William, just so you know, happens to already have the office of constable. And then we have other nobles that at some point will become available. I can bring them aboard whenever I need to. One is a politician focus, melee focus, defender focus. So a couple generals, another governorship available as I need folks to help us out. One more thing. What are we looking at? Summary. Yeah, we're able to have at our current Imperium level up to 8 governors, and we have, or very soon we'll have 6 of 8. We're able to have up to 4 armies, currently having 2, and this gives you an idea of the rest. Champion, spy, priest, we're allowed to have 1, and fleets, which really are irrelevant at this point and not part of the mods that's being developed. So that really doesn't matter so much. And as governors, we have the ability for edicts. And let's go see who has the ability to lead an edict. This will give us a chance to look at the cities a little bit as we figure out which edict might be best for any particular city. We're looking at decent food, wealth. We have decent sanitation over in Wessex and Bristol. So really, as far as an edict, we are not having public order issues. Our public order, as you can see over here, is flat, even. So I'm fine with that. We could look, if we were looking to raise public order, we could do that at the cost of taxes. But for right now, I'm comfortable just staying flat in our public order and worrying about constructing rural way houses just to work on our income early on. It also does help with growth. London, let's take a look in London. We have an edict for here. Once again, in London, we're looking at a plus 15 public order. The only reason the public order is so good there, if you look in the box, military presence is plus 19. So once the military is gone, public order drops down to -2. So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on in London as we move forward, because that army, trust me, will not be staying there long once we get this this kind of stuff set up. But in spite of that, even with the guy we have in London, who will have the provost title. So the short version of what I'm trying to say is that once an army's out and we have our governor next turn with provost in there, we'll only be losing 2 points of public order per turn. So we're going to let that go right off the bat. I'm not going to worry about empowering local rulers to improve our public order. I'm really just going to focus on the income right at first. Colchester, same way. We have flat public order, nothing good, nothing bad. Squalor's in good shape. We're going to go with the rural houses. Let's see. Up here, With the army there, once we move it out, it'll be flat because the army is giving a boost to the military presence of 12, and so our plus 12 will go away once the army's out of there and will be flat. So we're fine there. And that's where Eustace will end up eventually. Northumbria, we're going to do the same thing. Public order is a slight negative, but it will eventually go flat once we get our governor in there with his office promotion. And finally, we have one more territory. Let's get down here to Aquitaine, down here in Bordeaux. Our one holding left on the French coast, the continent itself. We've lost the ones they were talking about before, losing Normandy and other coastal holdings that we used to have. But we still have Bordeaux. And Bordeaux, we are losing public order, but with the... Once again, we will have an office available in Bordeaux, I believe, to take care of that public order. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down here to Aquitaine and once again do the rural way houses. And that should be all the governor edicts for the time being. We'll take a look down here along the bottom and see what we have to deal with before we get moving. We have diplomacy options. The Almohad Caliphate, odds are we will not gain any kind of trade with any of the caliphates in this game. They are none too friendly. We can try trade with the commune of Bologna.
Be welcome. I listen and speak for my people in our dealings today.
And we'll see how they feel. A moderate chance for a trade agreement. We're just going to keep it flat the way it is then. There's a probably should go through, I would think. And they have accepted.
We are honest men and will be your honest friends. We have agreement here.
Next in line to check with on trade agreements. Now that we'll skip and pass the Hafsid Sultanate. As I said, we have the Kingdom of France. Now, reason I'm going to skip this is the plan is, now that we have our king in command of an army, is we're going to start getting him to be bold and no longer be lackluster in his ways. So the one I'm thinking we're going to be targeting first is the Kingdom of France to try and gain back our territories. So we are not going to trade there, because we'd be breaking it right away.
The day's greetings to you. Speak, for you have my attention as the ear of the august people.
And we have a moderate chance of success here with the Kingdom of Sicily for trade. Let's give it a shot. And I guess moderate was not positive in this instance. And I'm not going to offer any enticements at this time on that one. One thing I am going to do, if I'm going to have my initial focus on France, what I'm going to do, you'll notice that we already have trade agreements with the Kingdom of Connacht and the Kingdom of Scotland. I think we may have passed some of there's Scotland's right there. So we have already trade agreements there, but we are lacking one with the Principality of Wales, and we're going to see if we can't get one there. Hoping trade agreements will keep them satisfied so they have no designs on our lands while we're distracted over in France. That's the plan.
The day's greetings to you. Speak, for you have my attention as the ear of the august people.
All right, so we have a chance. We have a great chance here. So we're going to see if we can't gain some extra cash on this. Let's do a couple ticks up to 500. See if they'll pay for this. Nope, says there's a chance. It's now moderate, not high. So let's see if he'll go for this. Almost.
There is profit for all in letting our merchants sell in your lands. What say you to such an arrangement?
What say I is, I say, yay. We shall take this one. It's a not much of a counter offer difference, so we're going to take it. And the last one we're going to look at that's available here, Republic of Pisa. Let's see how they feel about trade.
I trust you bring
moderate, we're just going to go straight up. All right, looks like for what we have available so far, we have the trade that we can get. Obviously, I probably could get trade with France, but I don't want to set up an agreement and then break it right away. So that would not reflect well on our kingdom. Something else we have down here is technology tree. You can see if you've played this mod earlier, it was not fully fleshed out like this in the past. It is now. At this level on the military tree is where you start getting access to the next level of units. So that's a target here, but just be aware that's a fair amount of turns to get there. So investment in schools is often not a bad option to help speed up this process. With that in mind, and that being said, our first areas of technology I'm looking to invest in are in the civic area. The first one being a Catholic monastery, and then I'm gonna get up to the physician and school. I want physician level. You're gonna see squalor can sometimes be a challenge in this game at times, depending on who you play with. Public order can be a challenge at times. So quite often some of my early moves are in the civic tree to kind of counter those before I move over to the military tree. Plus, by getting up here to the school, it allows me access to the schools that then eventually, when I do get to the military tree, will help speed it up a little bit for me. So we're just going to click all the way up to scholasticism here, and in the process, we will research mendicant orders. Trade and finance, we have a good handle on that. Right now our income is expected next turn to be 1,395. Doesn't sound amazing yet, does it? Well, we'll see if we can improve on that moving forward. As far as any objectives, right now that's blank. We do have some decisions available. One is to found an empire. That means controlling 18 regions, and we start with 6. So we definitely will be trying to become the English Empire in this playthrough. We have the ability to try and ask the Pope for money, but to do that, our papal favor has to be greater than 7. And then we can get an automatic 5,000 coin, but we pay for it in favor if we need that cash, if we get strapped at some point. So that kind of gives you a little overview of the map, the board a little bit. What we're going to do next is maybe look a little bit at each individual province and see what we're looking at there, and see if there's any building decisions we need to make right off the bat. If we start down in Bordeaux, let's see what we can be doing down here. All right, Bordeaux right now has good public order, but they do not have good squalor and sanitation. So I'm thinking maybe I'll look at trying to address some of that. It says right here that this building that we currently have, the wheat fields, brings +1 squalor. And also we have some wine production that brings +2 squalor at this level 2. It goes up to +4 on the next one. But what I'm actually thinking, the reason I'm showing you this, to help get my squalor in order, I'm hoping this will all come together and help us. We're going to dismantle the buildings at this level down to the one prior. Yes, it will hurt our income a little bit temporarily, but we're going to take that hit on behalf of squalor, because the last thing we need is a lot of plague roaming through our lands. And then we're going to spend a chunk of our funds, right now 12,400. We're going to spend a chunk of these funds to upgrade to a large city. Large city from our current size. Current size is +2 sanitation to going to the next size up of cities. Sanitation becomes +3. So hopefully some of these changes together will help the squalor in Bordeaux. So that's what we're going to start out doing. We're going to jump up to York. It's another building I want to take a look at up here. Okay, in York we have a Catholic priory, and the sanitation, it's one of the religious buildings that helps with your sanitation levels. However, our sanitation levels at the moment are just fine. We can do away with the benefit that we get from this building, and the reason being, if we go into the city builder, we look at our religion chain, you can see the priority right here, but the one I'm interested in getting for this city is the military order priority. The reason being, if you look over to the left, you'll see it unlocks recruitment of the Hospitaller Knights, the Templar Knights, and others. So these are, at least early on, some better quality units that we can gain access to, only limited by availability of nobles in our population, I guess you could say. There's limits on how many of these units you can recruit, but if I can get them, I want them. So what we're going to do is we are going to dismantle here and not really spend any more money, because we're going to need 6,000 eventually to build this military order. And so that's probably all just because of funds that I'm going to do. I spent a whole boatload down in Bordeaux. Let's take a look at our armies. The largest and strongest army that we currently have as of the moment is down here with William. And he also has, if you remember in his traits, he has command and morale when attacking. So he is going to probably maintain, even though I want to get the name back for our king, we are going to maintain him with the main army right now, since we're going to move out of London and go on the attack here. So since he has the offensive bonuses as opposed to the king who has defensive bonuses, we're going to make his army be the main one we thrust out with against France. What we will do, however, is we're going to bring the king down and see if we have some units we want to exchange back and forth to make our main army as strong as it can be. I don't want to spend any other funds yet at this point on the existing armies. We just don't have a lot of wiggle room yet with our income. So we're gonna try and make do with what we have. So let's bring the king down. And we'll see how we want to switch this out. English Knights, I think we're going to go all in over here to get them into the army here. I'd like to get our strongest foot soldiers, the English Knights, also over here. And we have room for 3, 17 out of 20. So the last one we'll bring over is, I think we're going to have one extra longbowman. Can't hurt. The other thing I can do... is there any other units? Yeah, I want to get one more longbowman over here. So one thing I can do is we'll, just so the king himself does have some mounted units, we're going to bring one of the sergeants back and then make room for both longbowmen. And I think that will make a decent enough army to move against the French, at least for starters. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit the seas and get this army a-moving.
Commander. Waiting for a new course.
There we go. And just so that we do not have too much negativeness in London, negative public order, temporarily we're going to park you here, King John. And what I want to do is hopefully we'll get the income next time enough to get our next building up in York built. And then I will send John... perhaps at that time back up to York to ideally recruit some of the stronger units that we will then be able to build. That's the plan overall. Hopefully it'll work for us. I guess the last thing, I will spend a little more money, and that's just so I can have some eyes. We are able in London to recruit an agent, and we have some priests available. We can't recruit any spies or spies yet, or assassins, excuse me, but we are going to recruit a priest. The ages are 31, 25, 20. A lot of times when I want to recruit, I do go for a younger age, thinking they're going to last longer and gain more perks, but I just don't think I want to pass up natural gift, a success chance of plus 10%, so we will recruit Edmund.
Ready, willing, and able.
All right. Let me just take a look around. We'll be right back after I do that to make sure I haven't overlooked anything to get us going, and then we'll get this first turn in the books. All right, I don't see anything else that we've missed that I want to deal with at this current point, so we'll get on and move to the next turn. What I normally do is kind of skip the turn phase, and I'll come back if anything interesting pops up, but otherwise I'll meet you on the other side of the turn. In this particular mod, it is 2 seasons per year, so we will still be, I believe, in 1212 AD when we return, but it'll be winter next time. So that's how the mod works. And if you have any other wonderings or questions about the mod, just so you know, I will try to include some links down below in the comments if you're interested in finding out more details or more information, or what's currently developed, what they're planning to develop, that kind of thing in the mod. Just take a look down below if you're curious in the comments. I'll include those links that I have, and if I miss any, you think there's some great information because you know about the mod and are excited about the mod too, let me know. I can include those links going forward too. All right, let's hit the next turn button. And it looks like I missed. Oh yeah, I did not miss assigning a provincial governor. I'm skipping it because he's in transit from being a general. So we'll just go ahead and not assign the last governor.
The people see you as worthy allies and suggest that you consider an alliance.
All right, so we did have one item of diplomacy pop up here so far. The Principality of Wales would like to gain a non-aggression pact with us. And while I do and am interested in not going to battle with the rest of the British Isles, I'm also not interested, at least right now, or not yet, in signing a non-aggression pact. Because once I do what I have to do, or feel I've done enough of what I have to do to France down here as payback, to get rid of that lackluster moniker that I have right now, I do want to unite all of the islands. Who doesn't when they play as the Kingdom of England? So we are not going to sign any non-aggression pacts. We're going to take that chance at upsetting people around me to the north, but hopefully with our trade agreements that'll be enough to keep them satisfied. Okay, we've made it back to the end turn. We do have more signs or indications of wavering loyalty. Eustace, who now has made his way back and is in London from being a general, has a wavering loyalty, as we kind of knew already. Hopefully it's not worse now that we took away his generalship, but hopefully we can correct that real quick, what little loyalty he does have, by giving him a governorship. And the fate of the Angevin. Whispers have alerted the king that nobles are conspiring, thinking him weak. The King of England must prove his worth and return prestige to the English crown. France has inflicted great defeats on the Angevin dynasty in recent years. Returning the favor would quell these rebels, if only momentarily. So we have the ability to act strong and declare war on France, and I think I've already indicated to you, especially by bringing our king to generalship, we are interested in being strong, and so to arms, we are going to take that first step and declare war on France. I have a feeling if we chose no war, we would have some rebellion on our hand from various nobles, so we're going to go with the call to arms and declare war on France. And we have some political obstruction. We're trying to get promoted, or William over here promoted to one of our offices. And as it says, when one is climbing the greasy pole, there is but one rule: hunt or be hunted. Your candidate has been blocked from office by your opponents. What will you do? What I'm going to do is not decree him the office. William has enough influence left over that he is going to use his own influence and gain political favors that way and gain his office. And Hubert, on the other hand, has outright gained his office without any trouble. Same with Robert. And there we go. We did have some events pop up, and one of those is foreign trespassers. And now that we're at war, this is a little more interesting down here in Bordeaux. Coming down from the direction of Paris or so, we have a French army led by, does it say? Oh, Philippe. moving into our territory at Bordeaux. So what we may have to do is with our army that went to sea already, we may have to have them head down to Bordeaux just in case, now that we're at war, Bordeaux becomes threatened by this French incursion onto our lands. We have finished demolishing the Catholic priory. The winery is down a level. The wheat fields are down a level. And Eustace is ready for duty. Let's go look at the demolition up here if we can. While we're here, just so I don't forget. I use these notes so I don't forget to do what I got to do or I want to do. What we're going to do is we're going to start building because our income was definitely more than what the trade and finance button seemed to indicate it might be. Maybe it's because of the extra trade agreements we got and picked up or whatnot, but we have a decent amount of income here. And while we have it, I'm going to spend, because it's kind of expensive, 6,000 to get our military order building built up here so we can gain access to some more units. And with Eustace ready for duty, we're going to go take care of that right now. And we have a governorship waiting for him down in Mercia. We're going to get him assigned. Once he's highlighted, now he can be assigned. And we're also going to go for office because we remember he's capable and has the influence to take office of provost. There we go. So at this point, we're all set with offices. Let's get back there, see if there's any other notices that popped up that we need to... our edicts have all been handed out. And that means we should have an edict available in Mercia. So let's see. Yeah, one right here. We're going to do the way houses here also. Public order is okay. Definitely has obviously helped our income a little bit. We've encountered a new faction, the Duchy of Burgundy. I imagine, yeah, there we go. And we have declared war. We already know that. And there are war coordination targets available. Let's go see who our allies are. We are at war with the Kingdom of France and the Duchy of Burgundy. Burgundy being... Oh, that's why we can see it all of a sudden. It's, I believe, a vassal of France. We have military allies of Flanders and the Holy Roman Empire. So I assume they may have just joined the war with us. There was no pop-up of that sort, so we'll just kind of confirm it this way. And at war is the County of Flanders. Yes, they joined us, and I see the shield for the Holy Roman Empire. So we have our allies at war with us, with France. So we can, if we feel the need, they aren't doing enough for us, we can try setting a war coordination target to have them help us out as necessary. All right, so now that we are here with our army at sea, let's take them on the long cruise, the long winter cruise. Not exactly when you want to take a cruise, is it now? We're going to go down, start heading that slow trip to Bordeaux. And another thing I want to do is to help give us some extra eyes over on the continent. We're going to take our priest and have him hit the road. And so far we're only in Flanders, yeah, County of Flanders, and we're going to be heading down to Rouen to see what we can see. And as far as the army here, it's going to be how many turns till this building in York is built? 4 turns. So we can get up there in a couple turns. I think we'll just keep you for the moment parked in London and do that for now. Is there any other forces, since I have a tiny bit of funds that I want to add? Yes, we will see about recruiting to this army some longbowmen, because he's going to need longbowmen sometime eventually, and we do have longbowmen available for hire in London, and we're going to pick up 2 of those units for starters. It's going to eat in with the maintenance into our income, but we can afford them right now. Let's do it. All right, I think that's probably it for this turn. Before we move on to the next one, as I always do, I'm going to take a look around the map without you watching, just to see if I didn't miss anything I want to take care of, and then we'll come back and get ready for the new turn. Okay, the only things I've really noticed before we get to the next turn is some weird things that at least I'm not getting a handle or have a grasp on right now have happened. And we got rid of the buildings in Bordeaux that were causing some public order and sanitation issues, and the public order is sitting fine. It's the way it was right at the beginning, but our squalor has not changed, even though we've gotten rid of some of the squalor conditions. So we'll keep our eyes, that's not making sense to me, so we'll kind of keep our eyes over there. Maybe there's a lag or a delay before sanitation is impacted. I do not know. We'll keep our eye on that. The other thing I notice is up here in London, same kind of weird things happening where the sanitation was good. When we looked at the city at the beginning, all of a sudden sanitation is not in the best of circumstances up here in London. Squalor is now negative, or sanitation is now -3. And I don't think in one turn, our growth has happened so much to impact any kind of squalor. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, I'll have to learn how to read these numbers and understand these numbers a little better. But for right now, we got squalor issues in Bordeaux, in London, and once again, we got some squalor issues up here in York. So we're going to have to figure out exactly why these changes took place. I mean, I know we're -2 now because we got rid of the priority that was helping our sanitation. Should have gotten rid of 2 and we should be flat, but instead now we are at -2. So I'm not sure exactly the impact I'm having with some of the changes we're making. It's not what I'm expecting, but we'll keep our eye on that and see if we can't figure this out going forward. Okay, let's get on to the next turn and see what it brings us.
We believe that cooperation rather than hostility would serve us both well in the trying days ahead.
Yeah, and it looks like the Kingdom of Scotland is following in the footpaths of the Principality of Wales right now, and they would also like a non-aggression pact. In fact, they want us to pay for the privilege, and we will deny.
Your words are pregnant with sorrow. Let us pray that nothing worse is birthed.
Okay, we have a call to arms right now. The aggressor is the Holy Roman Empire. The defender is the Kingdom of Sicily. And rather than cause waves at the moment, especially with the Holy Roman Empire supporting us, supposedly, in our move against France, we're going to keep on the side of our ally for now and go to war with the Kingdom of Sicily. They're far removed, so I'm not too worried about any immediate dire consequences. And hey, they wouldn't trade with us. This is what happens.
We believe that cooperation rather than hostility would serve us both well in the trying days ahead.
Well, the final territory on the British Isles would also like a non-aggression pact. Nice to know they're all so peaceful and non-warlike that they all want non-aggression pacts, but we will pass for the moment. All right, once again, the old loyalty is wavering, this time with Robert. And we have a disease outbreak, just what we were afraid of. Consumption has hit the location of York. A foul pestilence has erupted within our lands, no doubt a result of filth and squalor. Sanitation is key to fending off disease. So we're going to have to see about getting our sanitation in order in these 3 cities that are having some sanitation problems, so we don't have to worry about the plague all of a sudden showing up. We have a new mission. A great shame has befallen the House of Anjou, as the former continental bastion of the Norman kings of England, Normandy, has fallen to French hands during the tenure of King John. If the Angevin are to be taken seriously, both on the continent and in Britannia, Normandy must be retaken. And so we need to own and take over the region of Rouen, and we have 4 turns in which to do it, so we got to do it very quickly if we want to succeed in this mission. And I have a feeling if we do this, that might help the loyalty of some of our nobles. So I think this is a high priority for us now. Other thing to be aware of. Oh, let's take a look. Office secured, so Eustace has his office. That's good. Something else to be aware of. Do you recall that French force last turn that was trespassing down in our lands? Well, it has moved on down the road in the direction of Toulouse, just off the map down right around here. As a matter of fact, I think what that means is the French. Well, let's take a look at the French and see if there's something drawing them down there that we should know about. Yeah, I didn't look at that before. When I saw they were at war with Flanders and the Holy Roman Empire, I went right by the fact that they are also at war with the county of Toulouse. So that explains where their army was headed. They weren't going after Bordeaux, thank goodness. So we got some time to deal with the French still. And they are stretched thin with some of the forces moving against them. I think what we're going to do then is move on Rouen and see what we can do. Let's see. If I come down and attack here, let's just come down with our army conveniently, and on the way to Bordeaux is right here. So let's just go in and see about attacking and or sieging the walls here.
None shall pass.
And we can't quite make it. We don't quite have the movement. I think what I'm also going to do then in the meantime, since I don't have the ability to recruit any more units up in York for a few more turns, let's bring the king and give him some... Oh, wait, I can't move him quite yet because we're recruiting. So we're going to have to hang on to have the king move on to support us. We'll see if he can't come out next turn maybe to support our attack on Rouen. I think that's going to be all. I'm not going to recruit and spend any more forces because I want you to be mobile, King John. There's no other buildings I'm interested in building quite yet. What I will do, though, is just do one more final check. We'll look around the map and see if there's anything else that we need to deal with. Well, there is one thing. Let's get our priest, Edmund, on the move. And looks like, wow, he really doesn't have a lot of movement. I guess he's kind of forced. He can't go through the city in Flanders. In Flanders here, he's got to go through some heavy forest. But we'll get him over to this road, and hopefully he can start moving faster after this and give us some eyes. I want some eyes down around, yes, Paris down here to get a better feel for if there's any reinforcements coming up to aid in the defense. And yeah, there's no other city really. Dijon, Lyon. But they're kind of all distant, so maybe what I want to do is get my priest kind of situated around the junction in the road here to see if anybody's coming up to help us or help defend Rouen. Okay, that would appear to be it, so let's hit the next turn button and see what the future brings to us. Alright, no immediate pop-ups. It was a clean turn getting us to the end, but we have an illegitimate birth ahead of us. The father, William, himself an illegitimate son. Looks like he may have sired an illegitimate daughter. Eustace has wavering loyalty, so I think the quicker we take out Rouen, the better for us. Yeah, there he is. The bastard son now has a bastard daughter. So keeping on the traits down the line. And let's take a move against the city here that we need in the area of Normandy, and let's see if we can take it over. Let's just see, first of all, what the strength is for this battle.
Siege to the settlement.
It's looking pretty close, maybe slightly in our favor. These are the forces that we have going against us. We have some early archers. We do have some crossbowmen. We have a French cavalry, though, is available in here, so that's going to be one of their tougher units. Fortunately, we do have some English knights to help counter that move, at least once we can get beyond the walls. Otherwise, we're looking at some early sergeants. We do have a couple sergeants of our own, so we do match up with these guys just fine. Problem is, we have to go up and over the walls, whereas they just have to defend the walls, which is always the better proposition. But we outnumber them 25-90 to 14-20, so let's go ahead and build some ladders. Yeah, we can only... So in one turn, we will have the ability to attack the city. So we're going to maintain the siege here. Let's see if we can get our king on the way to maybe support the attack and just make it a no-brainer. At least for our first attack, wouldn't that be nice? And then perhaps after this battle, we can then break the king back off to go up and see if we have the funds available to recruit some fun new units by then. We shall see. Depends on the what kind of forces we run into as we keep moving forward. All right, looks like a new declaration of war. Poor France has been declared on France. The Crown of Aragon has declared war on the Kingdom of France. They are down here, just behind two cities of the county of Toulouse. So I hopefully they have an agreement to get armies up here, or that's a declaration of war in name only. And we did, as we know, we recruited our 2 longbowmen, and we knew that because the king is on the move. See, we have some happiness issues in London, but we have enough positiveness built up from having some armies camped there, so that's not an issue. The Kingdom of Norway has appeared off our coast, by the way, just so you know. The currently nomadic Kingdom of Norway is nearby, so hopefully they are not enticed to move against our lands at this time. And fortunately for us, our priest Edmund has a little better range now that we're on the road system. Let's start moving him down in the path he needs to go. See if we see any reinforcements heading up. And I think, at least for this turn, we're going to keep the priest right around the crossroads, just so if any units are moving to the defense of Rouen, that perhaps we can become aware of them before it's too late. Okay, a couple quick moves and looking around that I'm thinking I'm going to do. We're going to see if we can't do a couple things to address some of our squalor issues. They will not help our income, that is for sure. But I don't know that squalor getting out of control is going to be a good thing either. So let's try downgrading our fairground. I believe that helps with some public order and squalor issues over on the building there when we decrease. And we'll see how that one simple move helps. Right now we're sitting at -3 in total sanitation. Let's see if that improves a tick by what we've just tried here. We'll pass on York at the moment, since they're already dealing with some health issues there at the moment. We won't try fixing them. Besides, do we have anything else? So they have another fairground here. We might start downgrading if the health doesn't turn around. And the last thing we're going to do is head down to Bordeaux, see if we can do some sanitations there, and then we're going to head on to our some sanitation issues here. I'm going to try taking out the fields. We're going to keep the vineyard, and hopefully our food situation is not impacted too greatly by this. We're about to find out, and then I want to build one of the sanitation chain buildings right in its place next turn. All right, we should be ready now to take on the next turn. Next turn brings us to the Battle of Rouen, and we'll see if we can be victorious. So let's get the next turn going. Well, Kingdom of Castile, I am probably happy to get a non-aggression pact with you, but maybe we can try a little counter offer here. Right now, right now the likelihood of success is moderate as it stands. We're going to try a tiny bit of a payment demand and see the minimum payment demand here, see if it'll keep it moderate and if they'll go for it. And they have accepted. So we have a non-aggression pact down with the Kingdom of Castile, where we probably were not really focused anytime in the near term anyway, and we gained a few bits of coin out of it. And the Kingdom of Scotland did not get the message. They still would like a non-aggression pact. We will decline politely. All right, yet again, we deal with the wavering loyalty. Let's hope our battle succeeds on the coast of Normandy. And we are set up to make that happen. We have, yes, we have the military investment still, and we'll see about resolving that investment here shortly. We've encountered a new faction. We have our non-aggression pact, and we have some defenders. The Kingdom of Norway has decided to trespass and camp out on our lands here, right here. They've camped right outside of Nottingham. So it may be that what I have to do is rather than support the attack, we're just going to have to count on being able to do it on our own. I'm kind of thinking we're going to have to send the king back inland to deal with this potential Norwegian threat. Oh, this is Norway also down blocking the path here, so that's not me.
Yes.
But I can get around them. So how strong is this force, and how friendly are we going to be? Is there any way, now that they are camped out in our lands, is there a way to trade with them to try and get them? Yeah, they're nomadic. They're in horde position, but let's open negotiations.
I welcome you on behalf of the people and give ear to your words.
Let's see what they feel about a non-aggression pact. We're going to go with the likelihood of moderate, just try and do it straight up to get this to happen. They've accepted my offer. So even though they're camping out on my lands, I don't know, as a horde on my lands, is that having a negative impact on income somehow? There's no happiness impact or anything like that. Is there any financial impact that shows up here? Not offhand. So if there's no, there's no raiding going on. They're just kind of camped out there is what they are. I see no negative effects on us. No loss in raiding income or anything like that. So with that in mind, and having a no aggression pact, I think what we're going to do is just ensure that we can gain the unwavering loyalty of our nobles again, and we're going to move the king off to the coast to support our attack over here.
The waves still beckon.
We've demolished our fairground up in London. Let's take a quick look at London and see if we have had any immediate impact from doing this. Now, and we're still, or maybe it was a -3. It's hard to remember exactly. Before building back up anyway to a fairgrounds, I think what I'm going to do is I have the money available as of this quick moment to increase to the next city, which will also improve. Next city size improves our sanitation also. So let's take that big step. And we had destroyed the fields down below too. Let's see if there's any immediate impact. I'm just curious to see how all this works on the squalor. And was the squalor always -2, or was it? I think it might have been -3 also. So maybe things are starting to work in our favor. And unfortunately, by increasing that city, I can't yet quite build the sanitation building. Oh, actually, I have to destroy one more level. But we do have a food shortage now in Aquitaine. So getting rid of those fields may not have been the best move. If we get sanitation there, we'll see how the sanitation looks, and maybe we can upgrade to help counterbalance that, the winery, because that does give us more food also. Trying to get the feel for how all these things interrelate. Edmund, you're kind of guarding the way or taking a look for us. Why don't we have you move, since we're going to attack, we're going to have you move towards Paris to see what we can see over here. Any forces down here. And Paris does not have any immediate army to move up as the closest city. So we're all set up, I do believe, for an attack. What I'm going to do is take a quick pause, take a look at how long this mission's been running. And I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but if our time's up already, we're going to have to hold off on the initial attack till the beginning of our next episode. And I'm leaning towards that way anyway, just so we can take our time, take a good look at some of the units, how they're looking, that kind of thing. See all the hard work that's been going into this mod prior to our very first battle. So We'll be right back. I'll let you know if we're going to do the battle now or hold off to the beginning of our next episode. Okay, so we are, unfortunately, for all of you, sorry about it, we're going to hold off for the battle to begin and open our next episode. So come back and join me, and we'll take a good look at all the hard work, unit model-wise, etc., that we're looking at for this campaign. Hopefully you got a good overview of the mods so far in this first episode, get a good feel for how they've given a nice medieval flavor to Total War Attila here. This is ZigZagZog signing off from somewhere in this world. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any further episodes. Hit a like or dislike, and give me a little hi down in the comments. I sure would appreciate it. You all have a great one. Thanks so much for watching.